$10 only at your Tennessee Kentucky Gold Medal Chevy Geo dealer.
Go! We're set up to launch Tomahawk missile.
Good morning, Mr. Hussein. It's time for your 0530 Reveille.
Tonight, the latest from the battlefront.
So far, so good.
The campaign continues.
The price of war escalates.
We have lost 4 U.S. aircraft. We're doing everything we can to get our pilots back.
After Saddam Hussein strikes back.
Crazy man, a crazy dictator.
The war is not a summer camp.
The latest from the home front. Hope.
Do we support the president?
And fear.
I would like my dad to come home.
You're watching CBS News continuing coverage of the showdown in the Gulf. From CBS News headquarters in New York, here is Dan Rather.
Good evening. 48 hours now into Operation Desert Storm. President Bush says so far, so good. U.S. warplanes attacked Iraqi missile launchers today, one of the largest aerial bombardments of the last half century. Still to come, the land war to drive Iraqi forces from Kuwait. Increasingly, it looks like that will be much tougher than was anticipated as short as, say, 24 hours ago. CBS News correspondent Bob Simon was with U.S. ground forces today on the front lines in Saudi Arabia. Bob?
Dan, we took a drive up north today to the border region, and this is what we discovered. American troops are already under fire. These Marines, the members of an elite unit on a very highly classified mission near the border region, have been getting hammered by Iraqi artillery. In fact, in the last 24 hours, they were hit by about 70 rounds. They keep on moving location. They left this location this morning when it got pinpointed by the artillery. The Americans believe that there are Iraqi infiltrators who are giving their location. Here's a round that landed in the middle of a road. In fact, this entire stretch of road is getting hit by artillery quite a bit. Though that's an Iraqi position, that's an Iraqi-held fortress. You can see it from the border. The Marines have been calling in airstrikes. This Harrier jump jet was working for the Marines this morning to try to ward off the artillery and the tank fire. The positions are spotted by spotter planes, which work primarily by dropping white phosphorus bombs, which then mark a spot for the jump jets and for A-10s to zero in on. There was heavy wind today, so the phosphorus got carried away pretty quickly, and it was difficult to carry out too many successful airstrikes. This is all happening very close to the border, which was a very, very busy place until recently, and which is now completely abandoned. There's just nobody there. Just a couple of months ago, Kuwaitis were coming across by the droves, and Saudis were checking them. Some Kuwaitis, the most recent to come across, just abandoned their cars in a hurry and fled. This is route number 1 leading to the border. It's the quick way up north along the coast. It's bound to be a main battleground in the coming war between the Iraqi forces and the Allied forces will be coming their way. Dan?
Bob, you were with Marines on the road leading right up the Persian Gulf, a road that leads right into Kuwait City, as a matter of fact. The main force Marines, are they there to protect the road, or is it your judgment they're there to move forward when the call comes for a ground offensive?
Dan, it's a very, very eerie feeling driving up north now when you leave Dhahran, which is where we're speaking from now. Oh, for the first 200 kilometers, it is just packed with American artillery pieces moving north, self-propelled artillery, American armor, all sorts of supplies. About 60 kilometers from the border, all of a sudden there is nothing. There's just an eerie silence. You don't see anyone, you don't hear anything. Eerie silence punctuated by the loud noise of artillery. There's no one up there, just a few units doing their own jobs. The main forces are still being held considerably back.
Bob Simon, thanks. The United States military reports officially 4 U.S. aircraft lost now in the first 48 hours of the war. 7 American crewmen are officially listed as missing. Somewhat different picture of the air war we get now than we got in the first hours, understandably so, perhaps. Let's get an update now from CBS News Defense Department correspondent David Martin at the Pentagon. David?
Dan, Pentagon officials say the pace of the air war may actually increase over the next few days as the U.S. devotes more and more aircraft to the hunt for these Scud missile launchers, which the Pentagon views as the chief remaining Iraqi threat, both to Saudi Arabia and Israel. The problem with these missiles is that they're mobile. They can hide out during the day and then move into shooting position at night. So the U.S. really doesn't get a good fix on them until they actually fire. Then the rocket plume from the missile can be detected, and then that sort of sets off a kind of race to the death. The Iraqi missile crews try to pack up and move to a hiding place as fast as they can before U.S. aircraft can get overhead and hit them with a variety of weapons. They've been dropping everything from Maverick missiles to 500-pound bombs to actually just strafing them with 20-millimeter cannon. Since last night's attack on Israel, they believe they've got 10, but they know that more are on the loose.
David Martin, thanks, with a notation that the air war could increase over the next 24 to 48 hours. The Israeli government is debating now whether to retaliate itself against Iraq for last night's Scud missile attacks that wounded 12 people. Israeli citizens today were bracing for more. Correspondent Tom Fenton is on the scene in Tel Aviv. Tom?
Good morning, Dan. Since we last talked, there have been no further alerts. I've now learned that the last alert that we had about 2.5 hours ago was caused by the re-entry of a Soviet satellite which burned up and streaked across the sky, and of course it was naturally mistaken for a missile because everybody here is on a hair trigger alert. The big question now, of course, is whether the Israeli government is going to respond, and a lot depends on whether there are going to be any more missile attacks. It also depends on just how good a job the U.S. Air Force is doing. There is some concern here by reports that less than a dozen of Iraq's 700 warplanes have been destroyed. And of course, people here wonder how many of the mobile missiles are left, and they don't want to find out the hard way. Dan?
Thanks, Tom. President Bush said today U.S. forces are not targeting Saddam Hussein for death. There was no word from Saddam himself today, but his ambassador to France, Abdul Razak al-Hashimi, is with us now live from Paris. Mr. Ambassador, why did Iraq fire Scud missiles at civilian targets in Israel?
No, Don, you see, the point is the struggle altogether is an Arab-Israeli conflict, and the plan was that United States and whoever were there, Syria, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia, was to get rid of Iraq and Saddam Hussein for Israel without participation of Israel. And that was the plan. And it shows that planning is one thing and implementation is another. So Israel, it is an Arab-Israeli conflict. And we have said all along from the beginning that if the war is going to break up, Israel will be in it.
You said publicly, and made no mistake about it, shortly before the Scud missiles were fired at Israel, that Israel would be brought into the war. Are you prepared to say to us tonight that Iraq will fire more Scud missiles at Israel?
Well, before we said we will, and we did, and the war is not over, so as long as there is a war, well, that will continue, yes.
Are there any conditions under which Iraq will withdraw from Kuwait and stop this terrible war?
Dan, we did not start this terrible war, and we did not want that terrible war to start all along. We did not have any conditions, none whatsoever. We wanted to sit to the negotiating table with no precondition negotiation, none whatsoever. Is that too much to ask?
As you know, Mr. Ambassador, my role is to ask the questions, not to answer them. Have you heard from your government? Have you heard from your government, and can you tell me what is in the mind and heart of Saddam Hussein at this time?
Well, it's not a matter of what in the mind of the government or President Saddam Hussein. It's a battle we have to fight defending Iraq. If United States, President Bush, the American administration, or anybody authorized wants to negotiate peaceful settlements based on the initiative of the 12th of August, believe me, the war will come to an end.
Have you heard from your government since the war started?
Of course, we are in contact.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much.
All Americans are watching events in and around the Gulf, but few are watching more closely than those from military communities. Correspondent David Dow is at Camp Pendleton in California.
Sunrise over Oceanside, California. Over the yellow ribbons, the flying flags of a community at war. Next door, Camp Pendleton, which launched nearly 30,000 Marines to the Persian Gulf. Their wives work the phones now with words of comfort.
Okay, you take care of yourself, okay? And if you need me, call me. All right? Okay, hang in there. Bye.
There are thousands here like Catherine Bannis, scared, stunned, supportive.
Obviously, there's shock because nobody wants to go to war. There's also a matter of pride in what we're fighting for.
With great success.
Glued to the televisions of Camp Pendleton's neighbors, there are, to be sure, critics. But far more conspicuous are the platoons of true believers.
I think it's outstanding. I was glad to see it finally happen.
I'm all for the president and his decision.
The week's events triggered a rush to the county's blood banks, a doubling of donations.
I'm going to do my part as best I can. And the best I can do is give my blood and just pray to God that everybody can get home with minimum of loss.
At Oceanside High School, 1,500 students taped a home video greeting to the troops.
We all miss them. Just got to show them support and hoping they come back pretty quick.
We're behind them 100%, you know.
And local churches reached out to the families left behind. Elizabeth Buckley and son Nate were in church this morning. Nate's father left for the Persian Gulf last night.
I was just praying for strength and that, the Lord would be with him to keep him safe and keep his judgment clear.
The true test of families and other supporters is yet to come. Most of Pendleton's Marines are poised for the ground assault on Kuwait, potentially the costliest phase of this war. Dan?
Our special report on the Gulf War continues in a moment. Coming up next, Leslie Stahl with the view from inside the White House and Mike Wallace on the remarkable mayor of Tel Aviv and a view from inside Israel. So stay here with us.
This is Nicorette. Nicorette is nicotine gum. And Nicorette is available only from your doctor. Ask your doctor whether Nicorette is right for you.
I'm a second-half quarterback.
That was a stellar performance.
15 pieces of chicken or a supersized bucket of hot wings, just $9.99 each.
Anytime you're ready, gentlemen.
Super buckets from KFC.
Come on, Dad.
I have a headache. I have a bad headache. I can't think. I can't concentrate. I feel pain.
Today, Michael Farbstein is trying extra-strength Tylenol gel caps. For pain like his, why take aspirin or ibuprofen when nothing works better than Tylenol gel caps?
My headache is 100% gone. I feel great. I can think. I can concentrate. I can do what I have to do. Tylenol gel caps really did the job.
Tylenol gel caps, only from Tylenol. For everyday pain, nothing works better.
President Bush is pleased with the progress of the war so far, he says, but he told a news conference today, and I quote, "We must be realistic." He also said there will be losses. As Mr. Bush put it, again, direct quote, "War is never cheap." CBS News correspondent Leslie Stahl has the latest now from the White House. Leslie?
Dan, of course, the focus here today was on Israel. If the White House has any solid assurances from Israel that they will not retaliate, no one is saying. However, officials did say tonight that their anxieties that the war could widen to include Israel, quote, are evening out tonight. There is, quote, a degree of understanding with Israel. They are supportive. They have held off. President Bush ran what officials call an energetic diplomatic effort today, including a personal phone call to Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir and a very public statement of appreciation for Israel's restraint last night after the attack. Mr. Bush went over to the Pentagon today for a briefing on what he called the redoubled attack on Scud sites, quote, the darndest search and destroy mission ever taken in that area. Officials tonight say Iraq's ability to hit Israel has been limited. Mr. Bush has gone up to Camp David. His national security advisor, Brent Scowcroft, still at work tonight over there in his corner office, monitoring, watching, and hoping that the threat to Israel is past. Dan?
Thanks, Leslie. One major unanswered question tonight: will Israel strike back on its own at Iraq for last night's missile attack? Joining us now live from Washington is the Israeli ambassador to the United States, Zalman Shoval. Thank you very much for being with us, Mr. Ambassador.
Good evening.
When can we expect Israel to retaliate for these Scud missile attacks?
Well, retaliation is not the right word anyway. What Israel may consider, if it will, is to take certain actions in order to defend its citizens, to defend the people who live in Israel, Jews, Arabs alike. By the way, one of the children who were killed yesterday was a little Arab girl. But it's not a matter of retaliation, and the Israeli government has stated quite clearly that it will decide when it will decide, if it will decide what action to take. I don't know if any decision has been taken.
As you know, there's a widespread belief that Israel is going to strike, and probably strike quickly. I want to give you an opportunity to say that isn't so, if it isn't.
Well, I'm of course not a participant in the decision-making of that sort. This would be a governmental decision and a military decision. But as far as I can judge, there's full coordination between the Israeli government and the United States government with regard to exchanging information and communication. And I'm sure that whatever Israel will do will not destroy or will not create any harm to the coalition which the Americans are heading today for the sake of all the world, I would say, for the free world.
I note that, recognize how important it is, and let me follow up. Is it the position of the Israeli government that the United States will be allowed to carry out the search for the Scud missile sites and destroy them on its own and take the responsibility for that?
Well, I think that we are encouraged by what the United States is doing and has been doing so far. We understand that there are still quite a few missile launchers which have not been discovered yet. And I think at a certain time the Israeli government and the American government will both have to assess what the best way is in order to stop that threat to Israel and to the other countries in the area.
Mr. Ambassador, there's a widespread belief. Do you know that the Scud missiles came over Jordanian territory to get to Israel?
Yes, I think that's the only way they could reach Israel, and I think the Jordanian government should ask itself, when they talked about the possibility of using Jordanian airspace to attack another state, and they really directed their criticism at Israel, they should ask themselves whether Iraq has really acted in a peaceful and neighborly fashion with regard to Jordan.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Israelis have been on alert, on edge, and through war before. Mike Wallace is here now with the story of the Iraqi missile attack on Tel Aviv and one man who was ready for it. Mike?
And Dan, this survivor is one of the most unforgettable characters you would ever want to meet.
There was a missile. You can see the crater over there where I'm pointing out. The war is not a summer camp.
Shlomo Lahat knows what he's talking about.
It was a conventional with explosives, not with gas.
He used to be a general in the Israeli army.
We are used to wars, yes. I grew up since I was 6 years old. I came from Germany, and I had here 7 wars to handle, yes. So Israelis normally are built and geared mentally to wars.
But for the past 17 years, he's had another job, mayor of Tel Aviv. As both military man and politician, he has faced down some tough opponents, and though few were tougher than Saddam Hussein, Lahat is not daunted by what Saddam has thrown at him so far.
We are here in a neighborhood where a missile came down. I'm now going to see 2 houses where it hit.
His military experience told Lahat this was inevitable. 2 days ago, as he was trying to prepare his city for whatever lay ahead, we caught up with Lahat to ask him what the chances were of an attack on Israel.
He will use and throw some missiles on Tel Aviv.
And now that it has happened, Lahat says his biggest concern is to keep the fighting spirit of his people alive.
What helps is to be prepared. What helps is to be ready. What helps is to tell the people not to be in panic.
This, he says, may not be the worst of it. Saddam Hussein may have more terror in store for the city of Tel Aviv.
I want just to speak to the people and to calm them down.
All the time the war was far away, and now it's here near my house.
I'm very angry with him, and I want him to know we're alive and kicking, and we're going to do our best to make him feel sorry for the whole thing.
Whatever Iraq has planned, Tel Aviv's mayor says his city is ready to face it.
This is the operations center of the city. Normally we have here 2 people, yes, in every shift. Now we have 16 people. And Tel Aviv, as you notice, will remain, in spite of the situation, a non-stop city.
Fear is hard to come by, says Lahat, for a people who have seen the worst over and over again.
I have the mask here, and I trust the God.
For my birthday, I have a birthday in next week. From God. Yeah, from God. Not from Saddam.
He's a survivor from Auschwitz. He said, who can frighten me? Yes, after being in Auschwitz, nothing can frighten me.
For people like that, what's a mere Scud missile, Dan?
Mike, thanks a lot. When we come back, Charles Kuralt will be here with a look at how the war is affecting lives across America.
Grandma, what's butter for?
So my cookies will taste special for the family reunion.
Why?
Butter makes them taste better.
Why?
Butter's natural. Here, taste.
Delicious. 'Cause it's butter.
Real butter makes family reunions taste even better.
Static Cling can make you feel like this. What's your solution? Static Guard. Static Guard eliminates static cling instantly, completely. Get Static Guard. It's your best solution for static cling.
Color Tile's bigger, better clearance sale. Ceramics galore for walls and floors from 59 cents each. Great buys. Big savings on DuPont Stainmaster Carpet. Only $12.99 installed. Yes, vinyl style by the sheet, by the tile. 42% off. And introducing window colors, mini blinds in every shade. Buy one, get 2 free at Color Tile, bigger and better.
Flu outbreak in 29 states. Coughing, congestion, body aches, fever, headache. And it's spreading fast. What can you do? Doctors recommend Theraflu. Theraflu is hot liquid medicine. Strong therapy for flu symptoms. Hot liquid therapy that works fast. What can you do when you get the flu? Doctors recommend Theraflu. Strong therapy for flu symptoms.
Back now with more coverage of events in the Gulf. We're checking in a report on a description of air attacks tonight in Baghdad. We'll be having that for you a little while later on. U.S. forces keep pounding away at Iraq. The bombing resembles the blitz of World War II. Israel remains on the alert. It had a couple of air raid scares tonight, but both proved to be false alarms. The Pentagon now puts this country's loss in the war at 4 planes, that's officially, with at least 7 crewmen listed as missing. The story now of what it's like for the American pilots who are flying those raids against Iraq. James Hattori, who is covering the war from Saudi Arabia for us, is our reporter.
For the second day in a row, squadrons of F-16s deployed on sorties to Iraq returned to base with a nearly full load of 1-ton bombs. On a day when the Allied commander was on the air reporting an 80% mission success rate, National Guard pilots from New York and South Carolina were among the frustrated minority, their bombing runs thwarted by the weather.
Yeah, a little breezy. Should do all right.
F-16 ground crew members, still exhilarated in these first days of the war, found discretion the better and safer part of battle.
So far, everything that's gone out of here has gone up. So far, everything's come back.
Just down the tarmac, pilots from returning F-15 Strike Eagles, the latest all-weather fighter bombers, hinted at continued progress in taking out Iraqi Scud missiles.
It's just another day on the job for the Scud Busters. That's about all we can say. How did this go? Good? Today went real well. After about 7 hours of combat time, we're going to go home and relax a while, get ready for another day.
For most of the pilots here, this is their first taste of combat, the exhilaration. Today, they tasted the bitter, too. One of the F-15s here did not return from its mission this morning. Its pilot and weapons officer missing in action.
we all feel bad that we have an airplane missing. At the same time, no one has lost focus or their focus on the fact that they still have a big job to do, as we all do. And I see fire in their eyes and a highly motivated fighting force here. Still, one with remorse that someone is still out there possibly trying to walk back, and the airplane didn't come back, but still the focus is there in its entirety.
The F-15s were back in the air tonight. Remorse on hold. The war still ahead. James Hattori with the 4th Tactical Fighter Wing, Central Saudi Arabia.
As more and more reports come in, it's clear that the air war over Iraq is fierce. The Battle of Baghdad goes on tonight, and we have just in an audio report from John Simpson. He's of the British Broadcasting Corporation, a BBC reporter inside Baghdad. He's in Baghdad tonight. He describes tonight's American air raids.
New air raids have been taking place this evening, and the sirens began wailing soon after the minister had finished speaking. From the size and power of the raid, B-52 bombers may well have been used. Soon after the bombs began falling, a major target was hit and went up in spectacular flames. Under the terms of the censorship here, it's impossible for us to go into any more details. Further spectacular damage was done later. Our satellite telephone dish was jammed while the raid was on, presumably by the AWACS aircraft guiding the B-52s to their target.
2 points. He calls the damage in Baghdad, quote, spectacular. He says that B-52s probably were engaged in the raid. We do not yet know that to be an absolute confirmed fact. Let's go now to CBS News Chief Washington Correspondent Bob Schieffer and our 2 military consultants, retired U.S. Marine Corps General George Christ and, until recently, Air Force Chief of Staff, now retired General Michael Dugan. Bob?
Dan, one of the headlines coming out of all of this is that these weapons we've been buying in recent years work, and we have some examples tonight of the incredible accuracy of some of these laser-guided bombs. We're going to roll this tape. The first tape we're going to see was shot from an F-111. General Dugan, tell us what we're seeing here.
This is an F-111 approaching a what's described as a Scud weapon storage site. The 111 has already dropped its bomb. It's dropped it from about 3 miles out in a slight climb. The bombs are en route. There's laser guidance, laser energy on the front face of that storage site, and 2 bombs are going to come in
from where the arrow was.
From where the arrow was, 2,000 pounds apiece, and utterly destroy that facility.
Now, this is really incredible. What is that building, General?
This has been described as the Air Force headquarters in Baghdad. It looks to me like a 12 or so story building. There's some cloud in the area, by the way. You can see some disruption for the pilot to accurately observe the building. Some kind of a little cupola on top. The crosshairs, again, where the laser energy is right in the center of the building. This is attacked by a stealth fighter, an F-117.
And there it is.
And you see the debris coming out the sides of the building.
And we did not see that bomb explode because it had a delayed timer on it. It literally went right down the chimney.
It went down into the bowels of the building and then exploded in the inside of the building.
The Iraqi Air Force headquarters. Thank you, General Dugan.
It's gone.
The other thing that we have to remember is that despite the incredible accuracy of these weapons, the Iraqis still control the skies. They still have an air force up there, General.
Bob, I think you're right. Caution is probably the watchword right now. We truly are early into this operation, and the Iraqis are fighting back. We've knocked down 8 of their aircraft and perhaps 2 more. They've knocked down 8 of ours. Their missiles are still coming up. Their air defense is still coming up. And as we saw from Bob Simon's piece, they're shelling our Marines from their forward positions. Furthermore, there's some indications that maybe Saddam's troops are learning to live a little bit underneath this thing. When the Marines went out and didn't find the target they were looking for, perhaps he's going to learn how to use the night a little bit and live under this bombardment. And the last point I would make is, at some point we're going to have to slow this thing down. We've flown 2,100 sorties. We've got a little over 2,000 airplanes. That, if you count, would be a sortie per airplane. At some point, pilots need rest, airplanes need to maintain. So I think we're going to have to be just a little careful about as we look at this thing now.
But one thing we can say, Dan, is that from what we know of the air war so far, it's going very well so far. There's still a considerable job up there to do.
Thanks, Bob. I'm going to tack on with breaking news to ask General Dugan. Simpson just reported from Baghdad that in his opinion, tonight's raid may have involved B-52s. I know that there's no way that you could determine it at the second, but is that likely, and are we likely to know about it if B-52s have entered the Battle of Baghdad?
Dan, I would assess that that is not likely. It could be some aircraft like F-15Es or F-111s that we just saw that carry multiple numbers of bombs that have all-weather capability, but B-52s, given the description we had earlier in the day about the defenses still being very hot and heavy, I'd be surprised if they were near Baghdad yet.
We'll be checking, but we'll keep in mind General Chris' admonition, caution. I want to emphasize there is no confirmation of B-52s being used to attack Baghdad. The eyewitness said he thought that was the case, but eyewitness reports, even from experienced journalists under those conditions, have to be checked and then double-checked. Now, the threat of attack on the second front, the home front, the threat of terrorism, hasn't eased, not by any mind. Harold Dow has the latest now on security efforts in the United States and the continuing threat of terrorism.
We think we struck gold today in a major terrorist case.
This man is the gold the FBI is talking about. His name is Khalid Al-Jawri. Agents say he is an Iraqi terrorist who attempted to detonate 3 large bombs in New York 18 years ago. Authorities say Al-Jawri placed the bombs in front of 2 Israeli-owned banks and at an El Al Airlines warehouse on the same day that Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir was visiting the city. The bombs didn't go off because they all had faulty fuses. Al-Jawri was arrested by Italian authorities and is being held for extradition. With increased threats of terrorism, the timing of his arrest has caused the FBI to breathe a sigh of relief.
I'd say it's certainly ironic, perhaps more than coincidental.
Threats of terrorism have forced authorities in New York into an around-the-clock vigil. In a special command and control center, local and federal authorities are poised to respond. This in a city that normally gets around 13 bomb threats a day. Because of the war in the Gulf, that has changed.
We're experiencing over 100 a day right now. We've had 103 up to this point today.
A lot's changed at airports around the country, too. If you leave your car unattended, this is what will happen.
What's the deal? I'll drive it right away.
Only ticketed passengers are allowed beyond security checkpoints. Metal detector sensitivity has been increased, and bomb-sniffing dogs are on patrol, checking everything from plants to safe deposit boxes to bags. And at the Bay Area Rapid Transit System in San Francisco, if you have to use the bathroom, you can't just go. You have to wait to be buzzed in. Federal aviation officials said today, based on all the intelligence information they've received to date, the repercussions from Operation Desert Storm do not currently threaten U.S. domestic or international transportation. The FAA says the public needs to know that it's safe to fly and to travel to all parts of the world. Dan?
Thanks a lot, Harold Dow. Now, still ahead on our special CBS Showdown in the Gulf coverage, Charles Corral with coverage of what people are talking about around the country.
When you rinse first with Plax, normal everyday brushing takes on a whole new meaning. Plax, clinically proven to remove more plaque than brushing alone.
When your eyes feel extra dry and irritated, they need extra relief. Visine Extra gets the red out, plus an extra medication soothes, cools, and moisturizes dry, irritated eyes. Visine gets the red out and a whole lot more.
They ate the same lunch, got the same heartburn, but his antacid is very different. His Tums has calcium. Most antacids don't. Regular Rolaids uses an aluminum salt. This uses aluminum and magnesium. So does this. Of all these, only Tums helps wipe out heartburn and gives you calcium you need every day.
Something my body needs anyway. I like that.
Calcium-rich Tums. That's the one you want.
Showdown in the Gulf continues.
Evening, my good friend.
Robert Duvall in his finest role is Augustus McCrae.
I'd like the chance to shoot at an educated man once in my life.
Philosopher.
Ain't nothing better than riding a fine horse to a new country.
Lawman.
You're the kind of man that's a pleasure to hang.
Businessman.
I'm about half honest.
And ladies' man. A woman's heart was his chosen instrument.
Well, the older the violin, the sweeter the music.
Relive the legend. Lonesome Dove, Sunday on CBS.
This is CBS.
The stress headache. When its pain stretches you to the limit, take aspirin-free Anacin 3.
I take Anacin 3 for the pain. It's not aspirin. Doesn't upset my stomach.
Anacin 3, aspirin-free pain relief for today's stress headache.
Every second of an asthma attack can feel like an eternity. That's why there's Primatene Mist. Primatene opens clogged breathing tubes in as fast as 15 seconds. Primatene Mist, the fastest type relief known.
What tastes like home? I'll tell you what tastes like home. Country chicken, green beans, and my mama's biscuits.
For country chicken that tastes better than homemade, treat your family to Lee's. Pick Lee's 8-piece value box, now only $4.99. Choose famous recipe pressure-cooked chicken or crunchy or crispy plus. 8 pieces of home-cooked taste for only $4.99.
When I can't get home, I get Lee's.
That's why everybody's picking Lee's chicken.
News Channel 5. More news, more experience, more often.
Showdown in the Gulf continues. From CBS News headquarters in New York, here again is Dan Rather.
The nation continues its strong support for its fighting young men and women in the field and substantial support for the war itself and the way that President Bush is handling it. 61% of those polled in our freshest CBS News New York Times poll indicate that they believe the war is going well. The poll was taken after Iraq's missile attack on Israel last night. This is our latest poll. Apparently, as a result of that Scud missile attack against the Israelis, there was a significant drop in those who say they believe the war will be over in a few weeks. This remarkable week has been an emotional roller coaster for Americans. The shock of the start of the war, the enthusiasm of that first day, the disappointments of the second day. Charles Gerault has taken the pulse of patriots and protesters alike. Charles?
Dan, you mentioned a little while ago the president asked us today to be realistic about this war, and we know what he meant. But it's hard to do. Nothing seems realistic yet. The war is still something on the television set. We're not used to it. But we know we're going to have to get used to it. In Columbus, Ohio, it was time to show the flag.
Well, we're going to put the American flag on our uniform right above our sleeve there and just showing our support for the troops.
In Los Angeles, a time to roll up sleeves.
This is my way of showing I care. Because I can't do anything else, you know, listen to the news all day and that's about it.
Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. In a munitions plant in Sacramento, they were making mortar shells today.
Number one is to support the soldier in the field.
Spencer Sadler, Donna Sue Hawley, Craig Stapleton.
The names of sons and daughters in the Persian Gulf. They could be anyone's sons or daughters. In a sense, they are.
Bill Comstock, John Indorf, Bob Taylor.
Good morning, Mr. Hussein. It's time for your 0530 Reveille.
It was eye-opening when I had the first SAM missile shot at. It really, you know, the hair on the back of your head stands up, and I said, okay, they mean business now as well as we.
Continued on as we started approaching in there. I was just thinking, gee whiz, we're really going to do it. Everything we dropped, everything we shot, the jets, everything worked as advertised.
But as far as the pump fork, yeah, we are. I mean, it was, you know, it's something we've been here for so long, and we're just tired of waiting. I find it hard to believe that Saddam can last an indefinite amount of time.
You know, we're the ones that are going to go out there and get shot at. So, as far as I was concerned, I'm here to go out and shoot them, and I'm not afraid of it. I'm glad we're doing it. I don't know. For me, it was, we're going to go do our job, and I'm going to kill them for sure. They're not going to kill me unless I do something stupid.
We
casualties! We have casualties!
Here at home, there were still those who doubted the wisdom of the fighting in the Gulf. One of them was the aunt of Lieutenant Commander Scott Spiker, pilot of the first American plane lost in combat.
Personally, I don't feel that we should even be there in the first place, because I don't think we can police the whole world. And that seems to be what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I'm ready to die for my country.
Defend your country.
For my country.
Defend your country.
That's
your
right.
country's on the offense.
Hey, buddy.
Your country's going over there and starting this.
Stop the war now! Stop the war now! Stop the war now!
There have been peace demonstrations all day in the Missoula area, and we had heard rumors that they were going to try and disrupt this game tonight. And you can see the police, the extra security here in Missoula, are taking now. Now we've got potatoes being hurled at these well-meaning men and women.
Then there were the voices of the children, voices of doubt,
People could die over there. What do you have to
voices of love.
I would give all my heart to my father and the other troops, in Saudi, and I hope that all of them, even my dad, to come home safe.
Tough decisions have to be made by people in high places of authority. They've made those difficult decisions. Now I think is a time for us to say as Americans, we support the president and we support the liberation of Kuwait.
Most of us thought this was a time to pull together. We are enough pulled apart by distance. 450,000 of us are a long way from home. Those left behind are holding their breath tonight and waiting. Some American voices, Dan, as the war begins its third all-too-real day.
And a reminder that it's quintessentially American to believe that one can support the troops in the field, can protest, and be a patriot. Thanks, John. An unofficial but interesting measure of support for the troops in the field might be found in the latest rage, the American flag. Correspondent Bob McNamara checked how Old Glory was selling in Denver.
Denver today seemed ablaze in the stars and stripes.
Gives you warm fuzzies. So, I mean, it's just, we're proud to be Americans.
From the fraternity house to the front porch.
Hey, isn't it great to live in America?
From the rodeo to Main Street. The war has blown patriotic winds stronger than flag dealers can remember.
We've completely sold out of our inventory.
We had over 400 flags yesterday, and we have panic shipments coming in from the factories next week, just trying to keep track of it.
I wanted to donate blood, but I can't do that because I just had a baby, so this is the only thing I can do.
The images of anti-war protests have hoisted flag sales.
I'm getting a little sick of it, so I think it's time to do something about it.
And because the flag fervor caught many of the flag makers in their off-season, with inventories the lowest and production lines the slowest, business has spilled into flower shops and tattoo parlors, too.
To me, it's a little more dedication when you're willing to put it on your body. We think
buying a flag for a son in the war zone, or just buying one, was emotional for some.
We believe in our country, and we believe in the people that are over there that we care about, and we want everyone to know it.
Here, it's the sign of the times. Bob McNamara, CBS News, Denver.
When we come back, correspondent Robert Krulwich on the high cost of fighting this war against Iraq and who is doing most of the paying.
Come on along, I'll take you to the lullaby of Broadway.
The hickory and ballyhoo. The lullaby of Broadway.
And in the center of it all
is the Milford Plaza.
Stay at the Milford Plaza Hotel with cocktail dinner and breakfast for $49.50 per person. Discover why we are the lullaby of Broadway.
The Milford Plaza is the lullaby of all Broadway.
This isn't what you think. It's a new kind of cold relief. Introducing fast-acting, better-tasting Tylenol Cold Effervescent. Strong non-aspirin cold relief from Tylenol. The only effervescent cold medicine that speeds 2 cold medicines to your sneezing and congestion, while it sends Tylenol pain reliever to your aching body. New orange-flavored Tylenol Cold Effervescent, part of Tylenol's complete cold relief line. Nobody cares for your cold like Tylenol Cold.
All you needed to feel fresh then was baby powder. And it's all you need now. New Playtex Baby Powder Tampons.
A light, gentle scent.
Playtex New Edition Baby Powder Tampons.
It's all you need to feel baby powder fresh.
Why do I enjoy healthier Alpine Lace, low cholesterol and low sodium Swiss low cheese? Because it tastes so good. And now it's even lower in fat.
The healthy and tasty Swiss low cheese tastes so good from Alpine Lace.
Hi, I'm Danny Furtaro. You can make a real difference in the fight against multiple sclerosis. MS is a disease of the central nervous system. It can blind, cripple, and paralyze. There's no known cause or cure. Even though it most often strikes people in between the ages of 20 and 40, many still think it's a kid's disease. And in a way, they're right. I'm a kid, and it affects me. My mom has MS. Please help her and the families of 250,000 other adults who have MS.
As we mentioned earlier, President Bush said today, war is never cheap or easy. Definitely not cheap. And when it comes to money, guess who is doing most of the paying? CBS News economics correspondent Robert Krulwich has the answer in this report on the high cost of the war in the Gulf. Robert?
Dan, before the war started, expenses for housing, feeding, fueling, and supplying our troops and equipment was running approximately $66 million a day. Since the war started, and this is an estimate by Lawrence Korb of the Brookings Institution, the price has gone up from $66 million to close to $1 billion a day. $1 billion every day reflects various expenses, like the destruction of extremely expensive fighting equipment. The U.S. has lost, for example, an FA-18 Hornet worth $27 million, 2 A-6E intruders each worth about $22 million, an F-15E Strike Eagle worth about $40 million. The Pentagon also reports firing hundreds of missiles, and they can range from a $15,000 TOW missile to a $1.2 million for just a single Phoenix missile. And then there's basic ammunition. This 20-millimeter phalanx on the USS Wisconsin fires 3,000 shells a minute. At $10 to $12 for each shell, every minute of fire there costs $36,000. This naval gun fires more slowly, but every round, and you see the shells dropping there on the deck, each shot costs taxpayers $1,250 for each and every shot. And every blast from this 16-inch gun costs $10,000. Now add to that the cost of spare parts, repairs, and above all, fuel. U.S. planes have flown over 2,000 sorties so far, and our M1 tanks get gas mileage of only 1/6 of a mile per gallon. You put all these costs together, you can get up in the range of $500 million to $1 billion a day. So who pays? During the buildup, which cost $10 billion, the Kuwaitis paid $5 billion. The Saudis promised to pay up to half the costs, and all our fuel costs, which now go way up just as their oil revenues are dropping. If they keep getting only $20 a barrel for oil for a while, the fuel bills may hurt them much more than expected. And then there are the Germans and the Japanese. The Germans have promised $1 billion for the military effort, and with sentiment in Germany running strongly against the war, a radio poll found that 79% of the people there still oppose the war. Under these circumstances, Chancellor Kohl can't do too much more. In Japan, which has pledged $2 billion, Prime Minister Kaifu is trying to come up with $1 or $2 billion more, possibly to be announced next week. But that leaves the excess cost of this war could be $10, $15, $20 billion, whatever it is. As things stand right now, it's going to come out of our pockets, Dan.
Robert Krulwich, thanks. Welcome. What about the heartland of America? What are people there feeling and thinking? Frank Courier went to Middle America, I mean, literally Middle America, a town at the center of America, Plevna, Kansas.
Steeped in 100 years of homesteaders in history, farmers wander each day into the old general store in Plevna, Kansas, for a plate of fried chicken or a game of dominoes. A reassuring place where the coffee is strong and free, and today so is the talk and support for the war.
Well, I'll put it this way. I think if we don't do it there this time, in 5 years, we'll have to do it on our shores.
and I'd rather do it there than here.
In this little farm town of 150 people, first settled by Bulgarian immigrants near the geographic center of America, life goes on. John Gardner repairs an engine.
Let's go. Ready?
Let's go!
Charlie Kern coaches girls basketball. Yet still, the Gulf War is on everyone's mind, and so too, strong support for President Bush.
Oh, I think he was right in doing what he did. I mean, I think there's no question about that, but I question the fact whether he'll finish it or not.
We can't let a person like Hitler control the Mideast.
While Plevna rests on the edge of the Kansas oil patch, nobody here is getting rich off the high price of crude. And no one here much appreciates the anti-war battle cry, no blood for oil.
We can do without oil. We don't get her, that's about it. And there don't seem to be a shortage.
Hey, guys, what you doing? Come on.
Robert Monfort is a buffalo rancher and thinks the country should take lessons from the Vietnam War.
Well, the longer you wait, the better they get dug in.
Even with his son John, an Air Force sergeant in Saudi Arabia, Monfort thinks big bombs are the answer.
They're too humane in this country. Do like the rest of them. Saturate and bomb them, start right at the edge and pulverize them as they go.
But here, amidst the many reassuring images of country life in Kansas, there may one day be limits on patriotism. Only if it takes too much time and too many soldiers die, some here say, the chorus of support for the president may be a casualty of war. Frank Courier, CBS News, Plevna, Kansas.
In a moment, a reminder that Wednesday of this week started peacefully enough, but it ended with a war. A profile of a very different day when we return.
Someone should talk to you about how much time you spend on the phone, and who you talk to, and when and where. A Sprint representative can easily help you select a savings plan for your personal calling needs, and Sprint has better overall savings than AT&T. So there's a plan that's perfect for you, unless of course you're a teenager. I can't believe it. No one's invented the perfect plan for that.
How much insulation do you have in your attic? 3 inches? 6 inches? Well, the Department of Energy recommends R38 for most American homes, which is equivalent to a foot of Owens Corning pink fiberglass. So grab a ruler and measure your attic insulation. Then get rolling, because 12 inches of pink fiberglass can help you get a foothold on your energy bills.
Never before has there been such a soothing drop in a cough drop. Introducing new Halls Plus, the first cough drop with a real drop of soothing syrup in the center. So Halls Plus soothes your sore throat while it relieves your cough. And it has penetrating vapors to make your stuffy nose feel clearer. New Halls Plus from the halls of medicine. We finally put the drop in cough drops.
There are a few moments in our lives that are so vivid that we recall where we were when we got the news. Many Americans remember where they were the day President Kennedy was shot. And many will remember the day war broke out, January 16th, 1991.
Tell him that I love him and I miss him, and Teresa and I are waiting home for him.
Please be safe, and I'm proud of all of you out there.
All right, anybody else? If you are Eric Stevens, you're at your job as a disc jockey in Norfolk, Virginia.
Be careful, and we're all praying for you.
Hearing from the military wives and children who, while they don't know the attack is imminent, it is still some 10 hours away, they know enough to be scared.
Dave, I love you. I want you to come home soon.
Hi, Daddy. I love you.
Mel, did we get any mail from Dad?
If you are Cindy 80s, you are reading and rereading letters from your husband, Gene, aboard the battleship Wisconsin.
Sometimes things get a little scary, things that you hear and stuff.
She does not know that later this afternoon, her husband's ship will help launch the first strike. But she worries.
Yeah, I can't relax, I can't sleep. It's just, it bothers me.
And like so many Americans, she is comforted by her community and her church. If you are a member of the 35th Tactical Fighter Wing, you have just gotten word at your airbase in Saudi Arabia, before anyone in America, that the war is about to start. Your squad of F-4G Wild Weasels has the honor of being one of the first to cross the Iraqi border. The mission, locate and destroy enemy surface-to-air missiles around Baghdad, then get home safely.
Good morning. This is BFBN Morning Report for Wednesday, January 16th.
If you are in the 7th grade at Ben Franklin Junior High School in Ridgewood, New Jersey, you are thinking about war.
For the past few weeks, we have all been worried about the prospect of war.
You are praying for peace.
I prayed for my dad, relatives, and all the Americans, Iraqis, Kuwaitis.
On the battleship Wisconsin, it's after midnight in the Persian Gulf, after 4 in the afternoon Washington time. What had been Desert Shield becomes Desert Storm, with the launch of the Tomahawk cruise missiles. If you are Judy Davenport of Charleston, South Carolina, with a son and a husband in the Gulf, you are not cheering.
If my husband or my son don't come home from the Persian Gulf, I want to know in my heart that I did everything I could to stop this.
Dinner time in the U.S. is wartime in the Gulf. As wave after wave of jets roar off the runways, headed to Iraq and Kuwait. The target, Baghdad. The description by Texan Lieutenant Colonel George John Boy Walton. His wild weasel is among the first to see the enemy capital and its dark sky explode in fire.
The biggest thing I saw was one of the most fantastic fireworks demonstrations I've seen since 4th of July party years and years and years ago. This was tremendous. Baghdad was lit up like a Christmas tree.
The liberation of Kuwait has begun.
And Americans hear the official word.
The United States has moved under the code name Operation Desert Storm to enforce the mandates of the United Nations Security Council.
The White House has announced the liberation of Kuwait at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I'm hopeful that this fighting will not go on for long and that casualties will be held to an absolute minimum.
Lieutenant Colonel George Walton arrives back at his Saudi base. Mission complete. And the rest of his squad, all safe. They are ready to fly and fight another day.
We got to go eat breakfast, look at the next mission, and get ready for the next go.
We are now through Day 2 of the Persian Gulf War, and the pilots of the 35th Tactical Wing continue to ride their wild weasels into the enemy fire and back. Reports from Baghdad tonight report the damage there and yet another series of air raids to be, quote, spectacular. Day 3 of the war may bring surprises, but we already know it will be more of the same as the campaign falls into the relentless routine of war. That concludes our special report. Dan Rather, stay tuned to this CBS station for the latest on the showdown in the Gulf and for America Tonight following your late local news.
Stay with CBS News for continuing coverage of the showdown in the Gulf.
Evening, my good friend.
Robert Duvall in his finest role is Augustus McCrae.
I'd like the chance to shoot at an educated man once in my life.
Philosopher.
Ain't nothing better than riding a fine horse to a new country.
Lawman.
You're the kind of man that's a pleasure to hang.
Businessman.
I'm about half honest.
And ladies' man. A woman's heart was his chosen instrument.
Well, the older the violin, the sweeter the music.
Relive the legend. Lonesome Dove, Sunday on CBS.
This is CBS.
We've all seen pictures of people rallying against the war in the Persian Gulf, but where are the people who are supporting our troops on duty there? Tonight on our 10 o'clock report, we'll take you to Clarksville to one such rally. Plus, we'll have more on America at War with live reports from our Washington Bureau and from Fort Campbell. That's tonight on News Channel 5's 10 o'clock report.
They destroyed everything he had, everything he was. Now crime